Aging is something that most people dread, but I think aging should be aspirational. But at present, when we look at the paradigm of aging right now, it's something none of us want. It's decrepit, and it's frail, and it's all pilled up. Bill Falloon of the Life Extension Foundation decided that there was a better way to age. So today with me are Bill Falloon, the editor of Life Extension magazine, and Dr. Stephen Joyelle of the Life Extension Scientific Advisory Board. Dr. Joyelle, what do you think about when you're thinking of aging well?
Well, Suzanne, I think it's an important question. And the way I approach aging is, it's not just about adding more years, it's about adding quality to those years.
A lot of the new anti-aging approaches kind of fall on deaf ears in many doctors' offices. So that's what you provide at Life Extension, that kind of information, right?
During my medical training at Dartmouth, we had only 16 hours of nutrition. Now, that's really inadequate.
Right.
I think that Western medicine, and I'm a conventionally trained physician, we're good at dealing with acute medical problems, but we don't do a very good job of prevention. And I think that's something that we're very strong at Life Extension.
I bet you were ridiculed a lot when you said you wanted to find a way that we could all age and live a lot longer. How did this all happen?
Well, we certainly were. Back in 1980, when Life Extension was founded, no one could believe that anyone had any interest in slowing the aging process. But the fact is, Suzanne, information is power, especially when it comes to protecting our personal health. We at Life Extension advise people on what they can do to live longer and better, and back it up with science.
To us, good health really starts at a foundational level, and that means lifestyle. Great nutrition, a foundation of hormonal balance, something that you've talked about very often. And again, making sure, and this is, I think, an important point, that when people do supplement, that they're taking optimal dosages of the correct nutrients.
People are reading incredibly favorable news reports about certain nutrients like vitamin D.
Yes.
They're hearing that if they take enough vitamin D, they'll reduce their risk of cancer by perhaps 50% or more. Then they look on their bottle of multivitamins and they see they're getting maybe 400 to 600 IUs, and they think, well, that sounds like a lot. Reality is they need 10 times more than that to duplicate the successful studies showing that vitamin D can prevent cancer, prevent Alzheimer's, slow inflammatory processes. They need about 5,000 IUs of vitamin D every single day.
Not 10,000, 5,000.
Some people need 10,000.
Okay, how do we know? Do you blood test for it?
Absolutely. And we found that amongst dedicated supplement users, 85% had insufficient vitamin D levels.
It's important to every system in the body, right?
Yes, there are more than 30 different cells and tissues that have a vitamin D receptor. And vitamin D is a pro-hormone. And we know that hormones have powerful effects throughout our body. The vast majority of people are really deficient in vitamin D. And again, the way to go about assessing what your level, my level, Bill's level is getting a 25-hydroxy-D blood test. It's cheap and it's very effective to understand what your status is.
We've got the FDA who is there to protect us, right?
The FDA stands in the way of medical progress. It's been known for a long time that vitamin D had these incredible health benefits, but the FDA has suppressed this information. We go all the way back to 1983 when Life Extension first recommended low-dose aspirin to reduce heart attack risk. We had to battle the FDA for 15 years just to get them to recognize one indication for aspirin in the prevention of heart disease. It took 15 years for it to be recognized. Millions of Americans needlessly died because of the FDA delaying aspirin being used to prevent heart attack.
What else has had roadblocks that you've been able to move out of the way?
Well, back in 1983 again, we introduced coenzyme Q10.
Okay.
CoQ10 is becoming very popular. FDA said it was an unapproved drug, that we weren't allowed to sell it. Once again, we had to go to court, we went to Congress, we got it legalized, so you can buy CoQ10 anywhere right now.
Well, I think a lot of people don't understand how important CoQ10 is. Tell us why.
It's called mitochondria.
Oh, I know the mitochondria. It's the little energy center in the middle of the cell.
That's right. It's the cellular energy producing power plant, if you will.
Right.
And essentially what a mitochondria does is it takes oxygen from the air we breathe and food energy and converts it into a form of energy used by our cells. And it's critically important. We know that as we age, our ability of our mitochondria to produce energy decreases.
So the CoQ10 is what ignites the little power center. Because people who don't have CoQ10 are these older people, and you've seen it, where they're just out of gas.
They're energy depleted, and that often shows up in the form of congestive heart failure.
You cleared the road so that we could have DHEA, which is a hormone?
Back in 1981, we published an article about the broad-spectrum anti-aging properties of DHEA.
Replacing DHEA is a sound strategy if we're interested in aging in a healthy way. And all of our sex hormones really derive from that. Talk about testosterone, estradiol, certainly. So it's a precursor, if you will, to these very powerful and important sex hormones that we need throughout our life.
If somebody goes to your website, which is?
lef.org.
Do they get instruction? Are there videos? Do you provide blood tests?
There's a tremendous information that we've published going back to 1980 on the website, but there's also instruction as to what types of blood tests that they should take to identify what may be causing them to prematurely age.
What you are providing in your magazine is really a major service.
This is what we at Life Extension attempt to disseminate in our magazine, information that people are unlikely to hear at a health food store or just by reading a typical health magazine.
This is a magazine I wait for every month. I used to wait for Elle. And now I read Life Extension because I'm going to learn something every time. It gives me ideas for books, and you're doing great work. I thank you both for what you're doing. I'm glad that you're a regular part of this show. I'm glad to introduce you to my constituency, although I think most of you know who they are because I talk about Life Extension a lot. Thanks a lot for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne.
To learn more about what you've heard today on The Suzanne Show, sign up now for the Ultimate Health Giveaway, brought to you by Life Extension. You'll receive a free special report all about how you can live healthier, longer. Plus, you'll get a free 1-year Life Extension membership with no obligation and access to groundbreaking information for longer life. You'll also be entered for a chance to win exciting prizes every week, including a luxury cruise. Sign up now for the Ultimate Health Giveaway at SUZANNETV.com.